Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Educational Gamer and we are playing Afghanistan 11, playing in the new DLC as the United Kingdom over here. And last time we talked a little bit about this game being different in that you need to increase the hearts and minds of the Afghan people by building roads, by visiting their villages and so on and so forth. This time I want to focus a little bit more on the logistical aspects of the game. So we'll start by looking at this helicopter over here, which you can see has a little notice telling us that it is low on fuel. And if we click on it, you can indeed see that this unit only has one fuel remaining. That is because we are now in round 4. And if you remember well, the last couple of turns we started out a little tour of these 3 villages, or 4 villages I should say, up here with this Westland Lynx and the Royal Marines, I think it is, over here. So as this helicopter has spent 4 turns in the air, it is then now only on one of the 5 fuels originally, so that means that we need to take it back to base. You can see that it will take us 2 turns to get back to base. We can't just make it across to the base, but that's no problem. We'll probably run out of fuel this turn, and then next turn we'll have 0 fuel, and if we were to stop or end a turn with 0 fuel, this unit would actually suffer from 1 hit. It wouldn't be totally destroyed, but it would suffer from 1 hit, and then we really need to take it to base. So we are on track over here because this 1 fuel will allow us to get over here with the fuel, or without any. We will have no fuel as we land in the base, and that's pretty good because that's just how it should be. Now, that's one aspect. As you'll remember, our actual objective area is over here. It is still sensible to sort of tour these villages because that has in fact given us some intelligence, but our actual mission area is over here, and if you remember well, we have built up a forward operating base, so let's talk about what that means actually. We can look at the Charlie Company 1 over here of the Royal Marines. You can see it has 4 rations remaining. That is because it has spent last turn outside of any vehicle or base, and it's now running around the open, well, not really open area, the sort of hilly terrain over here. Now, 4 rations is actually pretty decent, but to get new rations we'd either need to end in our main base, which would take ages to get there, or we could be resupplied. For example, we could take, let's visit our main base, we could take this Chinook over here, load up some supplies, it is over here, collect rations, and then deliver them to our unit. And that would fill about up to 5 rations. Still, as you can see, we have a lot of units over here. We have some SAS, we have some vehicles running around this area, we have these Marines of course, and we'll probably need even more units over here just to sort of screen the area. So it would be really burdensome just to run a supply train across this street all the time just to fill up each individual unit. So what we need to do actually is consider the forward operating base. Now the forward operating base, as you can see over here, has resupply stored at this base. So what we can in fact do is get these units to over here, or even be in the vicinity, and instantly resupply from a nearby base. That would fill them up to 5 rations wherever they are. So even if they only had 1 ration remaining, resupply would bring them back up to 5, and it would only deduct 1 resupply of these things that are stored in this base, and that makes it really much better because, as you can see over here, this Charlie Squadron supply truck over here has actually loaded some supplies, and that would just allow us to resupply this base entirely. So the difference really here makes it really points really nicely out, I think, why a forward operating base can be so useful. So for example, if we had 3 or 5 units running out of rations, we'd either need 5 supply trucks coming over here and resupplying each individual unit, or we could just have 1 supply truck filling up the base and then have all these units collect their supplies from base. So I think that's a very nice indication about why it did make sense to build up this forward operating base. For one reason. There's another reason, and that is, as you can see over here, we have a howitzer stationed over here, and to actually deploy a howitzer, you need something like this supply pit, as it's called over here, and that will allow us to station a howitzer in here and then engage units in the vicinity. Nevertheless, let's try to sort out the things down here first. So one of the things that we did use to build up our hearts and minds meter and actually our political capital was this waterworks down here. But as you can see, it's now leaking water, and that is because it was probably attacked by a militia or Taliban unit. So we'll need to repair it. I think we'll need to resupply it a little bit as well. Hopefully. So first off, we need to bring this this engineering vehicle back to here and repair the waterworks. I'm a little bit afraid about this road, even though it shouldn't be mined. I think it would be prudent just to bring up this Husky over here. This Panama unit. Clear out any IDs. There were none. That's even better. So let's then go ahead and bring you two down here. Can do so without having any action points remaining. We can do that, so that's good to see. Oh, sorry, that's a maintenance yard. I want to repair this.
Copy that. Waterworks repaired.
There we go. It did cost us a little bit of political capital, but it will allow us to collect more political capital in the future. So that's actually very good news. These Marines were very successful in repelling some militias down here, but I don't think we need it now, so I think we can actually collect it and bring it back to base. Hopefully there's no ID on this road. There shouldn't be. That's fantastic. So I think that settles the area down here, so that means we'll probably not need the howitzer right now. So that means we can load it up in our Chinook and fly towards our forward operating base, just in the general vicinity. And I'm not too keen on flying over here because I think Taliban might have set up an ambush position, so this is sort of prime terrain of that, especially this bridge sort of area. So I'm going to fly a little bit closer towards the mountains. You can see the howitzer dangling down there, and then sort of fly across the mountains over here. And we can actually go one tile further. That's the maximum distance that we can go, so it's a little bit of a pity, but I think all in all it should be fine. Now, how are things down here? We have spotted this militia unit up here with these SAS, and we could engage them. It wouldn't actually be too bad. We could even bring down a Harriers direct, but on the other hand, I'm a little worried about this thing down here as well. This is an opium field, and we should really try to clear that out as soon as possible. So we have this Jackal over here, and I think what we actually could try to do is unload our units as close as possible and bring them up over here and have our infantry deal with that. Alternatively, we could try to bring up our infantry over here and have the infantry engage the militia over here. I think that wouldn't be such a bad idea. I think that might actually be very worthwhile. So if we did that, we'd probably fight from the lower ground, but I'm not too worried about that actually. It's over here. I think over here might be fine, and we'd not travel on any part of the road that hasn't been cleared of any mines, so that's fantastic as well. Can you please let me select the Marines? Thank you very much. And you engage these guys.
Taking fire.
And there we go. That's our first lost combat. That's a little bit unfortunate. We'll have to try to deal with that later on. These guys will, however, destroy the opium field. That should bring us in a little bit of cash. There we go. You might also have seen that has actually reduced the hearts and minds of some of the nearby villages. As we destroy basically their income, their livelihood, they'll be not so happy about that, and probably try to they'll dislike us a little bit for that, which I think is understandable, even if it's a little bit unfortunate for us. Right, so let's see what else we can do over here. These guys should be evac soon, but they don't have any action point remaining, so that's probably going to take some time. You can't advance any closer into the mountains. We could have the Panama try to clear some mines on this road, but I'm not too sure that that's really the priority right now. Here we have the SAS unit training some A&A infantry, that's fine. We have supply trucks staying around, that's I think also fine. We do have this Warthog, but there is no real need to do anything with it right now. So I think we could actually try to bring some of our units back. Alternatively, we could build up some waterworks over here. It costs us a lot of political capital, but I think it's well worthwhile to do that actually, because we can probably protect it fairly easily over here. Yeah, so you know what? Let's do that. Let's bring you over here. Build that. Running really low on political capital right now. You're also running low on fuel, so just to ease our supply a little bit, we'll bring you back to base. Bring you into there. It should be fine. You're now above your supply limit, which isn't great. So we'll probably want to remove some of the units in here. We still have this Husky over here, and you are starting to run a little bit low on fuel. So we have 2 fuel rations remaining, and you would be able to get back to base on that. So I think what we're actually going to do is bring you over here, back, sort of run backwards on our supply track. We can probably take this Warthog, or is this Warthog a little bit low on fuel? We only have 2 fuel rations left. Yeah, I think what we're going to do is we're going to use 2. So if we brought you all the way over here, that would be possible. But I wouldn't dare to run you all this way. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to bring you all the way over here, because that area should still be cleared of mines. But I'm not going to go any further, so that I think should be sufficient. You have 3 points of fuel remaining, so what we could really do, I think, is get you over here. So we're gonna bring this supply truck up over here. We could move you a little bit. But there's no point really doing that, I think. So you're gonna stay over here and be ready to refuel this guy, and then come home. We're not gonna incur any political capital penalty over here, so that's fine. We do have these infantry guys running around. There's no real point going anywhere specifically, so I feel like just coming back towards over here, closer to the road. These guys really are not that great at scouting, so I think it's going to be fine. Let's briefly flip through all of our units over here as we try to see. You know what, we can actually grab you, although then that would cost some political capital. This way you'll lose a ration, but all in all, I'm not too worried about that, so yeah, I think that's fine. These Royal Marines are fine. Yeah. Okay, that's all good. Yep, so we can continue over here and end our mission. Sorry, end our turn, of course.
Militia in the area.
Militia in the area, that's interesting. Okay, so we spotted more militia over here. You can see these guys are now running out of supplies. So that is something that we need to deal with. But first off, let's bring this helicopter home because it really needs refueling. And as it lands in our main base, next time it will be completely refueled. And I was actually wrong, it only carries 4 fuel, so that's interesting, I didn't know that. I'm not sure whether the US Black Hawk is any better than that. Right, but that's fine. We can then bring up our mine clearing vehicle a little bit further, see whether anything has... Interesting. See whether anything has been planted over here. It hasn't. But we did run into an ambush of Taliban units, so we'll need to deal with that in a moment. First off, let's then bring the artillery into the designated area over here. And that should be interesting, because now we can try to think about what we want to do over here with these militia units. We could of course attack them, but I don't want to really risk it, because if we lose this unit, and that'd be seriously bad in terms of political capital. We could bomb it for an airstrike, that would be really, really efficient. But on the other hand, it would cost us political capital. We don't have that much right now, so I'm not really keen on doing that. I don't really want to use the Chinook. I think I'll not use. Okay, so probably we need to move the Chinook first. Can we? How shall we do this? Okay, let's first bring the Chinook into the base. There we go. Then let's select the howitzer. And in fact, you can see it covers a really, really great area. And I think this is a very good indication, so where we can immediately use that. Hopefully destroy this unit. There we go. Increase the hearts and minds a little bit. And that's very, very great. You can now be evac'd a little bit from over here. Can I pick you up? Can I pick you up? Apparently I can't. Is that a bug? Or is that because you are on the mountain terrain? I think it's because you're on mountain terrain.
Copy that.
Yeah, there we go. You have collected these guys. You should really bring them into the base over here. That should be fine. We can take the area, build up a field hospital over here. Unless, of course, we don't have the political capital. Yeah, it's a little bit too expensive, so no luck with that. But that should be fine. Right, we did use the Jackal for that, and you don't really have enough capital, so can you refill these guys? Yeah, you can. Yes, so let's do that, and then start to bring it down here. I think this road should be cleared as that mine clearing vehicle has just done its job, so that's fine. We need to bring some supplies to these guys over here. They do have one ration remaining, but I'm not too sure that that is going to be enough for such a long time. So let's also bring you home a little bit and then grab some rations, I think, with the Chinook. We could also use the Warthog, or actually a supply truck, but I'm not too keen on using the supply truck for that. The Chinook might actually be used for other things a little bit better, so let's use the Warthog. Let's take some rations. Let's move you out. I don't think we can supply you on this turn, but we can certainly move you towards over here, and that should be fine. Next time you'll be able to get the rations. They are on the back there, so that's a very, very nice way to do that. Right, UK Royal Marines, you are fine for now, although we could do a little bit better. Let's first off think about how we want to do it down here. I think first off maybe this supply vehicle is going to go back to base, because that should allow us to refuel you. We then have this Panama unit. First off, you've not taken all your actions, so let's move it down here. That should allow us to... I think I'm going to risk it. There could only be an ID over here, so it should really be possible to bring you up very, very far away. We know the Taliban unit is still around. We didn't kill it or anything, so that might still be a little bit frightening down there. This Panama unit then could bring it up, but it doesn't have that much fuel either, so I think we're going to bring it back to base, refuel it over there. Lots of units down here now. But all in all, I think we are somewhat fine. There's, interestingly enough, we do have a supply truck over here. I think what would be really good is collect some... Could either collect some ammo for the field howitzer over here. We have only 2 ammo left. Yeah, I think that would be a good idea. So let's do that. Let's load it up now. Can move out already, so we know that it's safer now, and you can see the rounds over there, so that should be fine. You guys have all moved. Anyone else over here who should be moving? We have some Marines, but the Western Link certainly can't move. We could send some of these guys home, but I don't think it's worthwhile. Maybe the Terrier. But no, I don't think for now that's a very wise choice. All in all, I would like to build the field hospital over here, but since we can't do that now, I think the next best thing that we can do is take the Chinook, load up these Marines, and then leave and get towards our home base.
Moving out.
And you can see it sort of has a little red cross over there. We'll of course still be attacked by Taliban units because they don't care about these things, but at least we are making some progress. You guys are all fine. The supply truck, I think still it's worthwhile to keep it around and not immediately resupply, but all in all I think we are good. Of course we now have 2 damaged units and that's not great. We could not buy some more reinforcements, so that's a little bit unfortunate, but I think we will be in a better position probably next turn. So let's end our turn.
Militia spotted.
More militias down here, so I think there must be some secret hole where they're crawling out of. And that's quite literal, because in the way that this game works is that units spawn in what they call this cave network. And there are some hidden caves that you don't know the position of, that are secret in that way, but that can allow, that will probably keep on spawning enemy units as we go. So let's first off deliver the rations to these guys because they really deserve a resupply, and that should be fine to bring it down here. We do have some ability to attack you. We do have 6 action points. Using the Harrier strike would cost 2. So could we do that? Yeah, and I think it would be well worthwhile. So we save up a little bit of the ammo on these guys. Does cost an action point. There we go, earning us some political capital, so that's great to see. Also great to see these guys being damaged. Then I think we can deal a little bit with the situation down here.
Moving out.
Bring you home. I think you're going to be home, right?
Militia in the area.
Oh, damn it. Okay, that's very unfortunate. So there was a militia unit down here, and that did attack the unit that was already damaged, and did in fact manage to kill one of our units. So that's very, very unfortunate for us. Let's bring these guys on this dangerous road home. That should hopefully get us a little bit to somewhere. Can we bring you home? Yeah, I think we should be able to do that relatively safely. So yeah, that was our first real loss of mine clearing vehicle. I find that mine clearing vehicles all in all are pretty good, but they do lack a couple of things. In particular, they can't really fight. I don't think the militia should be still around. No, it is not. So that's good to see. But yeah, that's a little bit of a problem. They're really not that great at fighting. They're very, very good at clearing mines, and they tend to run around very much due to that reason. But it doesn't allow you to really utilize that much more. So up here, there would be some intel to be gathered, as you can see by the smoke coming out of that village. So we could use our links and fly unit up here, gain some intel, and hopefully use that in some fashion. Which I still think, yeah, let's do that. I think it makes sense. So let's use links. Let's pick a Bravo company. You guys should be fine. And we're gonna fly over here. And next time we'll be able to get some intel from up there. Very good. And then we still probably have the situation that there is someone down here, and we can't really do with that. Of course we can't. We could move out on foot with these Marines, but that wouldn't be really worthwhile. The engineering vehicle is fine. The Chinook is out of movement point, so yeah, not much that we could do down there really. The supply truck. Let's bring you up over here, and then I think next turn we'll be able to move you up towards the base, but I don't want to keep you stranded up there, so I think that should be alright. You're out of movement points. You could go back. We have too many units sitting around over here. Could we resupply a little bit, maybe? Can you move up 2 points? Resupply from a nearby base. There we go. You now have 5 rations remaining. Still have 1 resupply, and I would like to use that in some way.
Roger
We
that.
could bring you towards the base and pick up some supplies. There we go. We're now out of rations, so that means you can leave and resupply this base.
Affirmative.
And then travel all the way down here.
Affirmative.
Probably not at an ID or anything. Nope. Looks fine. Very good. Right, so we still have too many units over here. The Jack L in particular, maybe it's worthwhile to move you out. Yeah, I think that might be something that's sensible. So let's move you out, let's pick up these guys.
Copy that.
You're fairly fast, we could try to move you up here. Or in fact down here. So worried about these Taliban units down here. Could use a drone reconnaissance mission. Let's do that.
Taliban in the area.
There we go. That's a Taliban unit. It wouldn't be possible to engage it with conventional terms, but we can certainly bomb it. Ah, but we did miss. Can we engage it now, I wonder? What if we bring it down here?
Copy that.
Now you can make sort of your way up there. Won't be going far, but at least it's worth an effort, I think. More Marines down here, but yeah, you all can't move out. So yeah, I think that's fine. Let's end our turn.
A&A unit deployed.
There we go. That's very nice. So we now have in this base the first Afghan National Army units, Alpha to Lie, over here. These are a little bit worse in fighting than the US forces, of course. But they still have a very decent benefit that they didn't cost us anything. And that's certainly a very nice thing to see. So, just looking briefly at the time. So yeah, let's start out as always by gathering some intel. If we do find some.
New intel received.
Yeah.
IED detected.
We did find this ID down here. Not a tremendously useful information, I have to say. But still nice to see that. Also, these visits do give us hearts and minds, and I did just see that there's a little bit of smoke coming up down here, so we can sort of make our standard detour over there. This Taliban has moved out of the spotting range, so that's a little bit unfortunate. Let's briefly reconfirm the area Alpha down here. So you could deploy an observation post. Wouldn't be too bad. So let's move you up 3 points and build up an observation post. As you can see, that massively increases the vision range of these guys. So that I think is very nice to see. If we confirm all of our waterworks are in order, yeah, they are. So that's good to see. The Alpha unit then. Do we want to move you out? Could try to bring you towards a base, but I don't think that's immediately a priority. Could sort of send you on a foot patrol. Do you have some supply trucks in here? Yeah, you know what, why not? Let's do that.
Roger that.
Just send you out, get some info on some of these people. Right. I'm a little bit worried about this area down here. It should be guarded a little bit better. And we would need some better eyes on this area, but I don't think we have the capacity to do that right now. So let's take the risk and send these trucks through this unguarded area. Apparently that did work out fine, so that's very nice to see. You can move all the way up here and use that as a decent base from which you can operate. So that's very good to see. We can also pick up one of our Marines. Let's take the Delta Company with this Warthog and bring it towards this village down here. Gain some intel again.
New intel received.
Ooh.
Opium crop detected.
Very interesting indeed. You don't have any movement points left, so that's fine. We'd still have the Alpha Company, the Kilo. These guys barely have any movement points, but it's still worthwhile picking up some things just because it will allow us to skip that movement point later on. So I think it'd be good to collect some FOB supplies, probably some fuel. Fuel is always pretty decent. Yeah, let's pick that up. Should we buy some reinforcements? We still have so little political capital. We can actually have a look at our logistics situation over here. And you can see that the infrastructure, so our waterworks, did award us 400 points. Winning in conflict did award us 300 points. But all of our movement points did cost us a little bit. So that's not too good. In terms of intelligence, we know that there are about 7 enemy units around, 3 Taliban, 4 militia cadres. I suspect that they must be a little bit more up here, so we'll have to see a little bit about that. Down here then, what can we do? Let's try to do that somewhat systematically. I think you have all moved. Yeah. I'd like to destroy that opium crop. We do have these SAS units. I think it's worthwhile to have these guys move around a little bit. Maybe towards that location, then take it out, if possible at all. I still know about this Taliban unit down here, although I'm not too sure where it went. So I think all in all, it probably makes sense to just collect these guys and bring them back towards this base. Would it make sense to move you any further? Don't think so, not without any mine clearing support. I find that mine clearing generally in this game is a little bit too easy, maybe? Can I actually move you out? No, I can't. Just attack. Anyone else who should be moved out? This guy, engineering vehicle, should stay in there. Oh, funny enough, you could supply someone over here. Interesting. The Terrier. Yeah, I think we'll have to just move the Terrier out for a second. Yeah, that should be enough. 9 units. Yeah, that's a lot of them. Do you want to move out the Chinook? I don't think it's that specifically worthwhile. If we knew where that Taliban unit was, then it might make more sense. But right now I don't feel like that's the best choice. So let's then return over here. Let's see where we can find some enemies. And as we go over here, we find that we are in our first national election. As national election, you can support any of these 3 candidates. You can make some campaign investments, and you can see the effects of these guys. So, for example, if this guy was to win, that'd be a hard time for us. You can see that all of these modifiers over here would be bad for us. So, NA training time would be up, infrastructure movement points would be up by a lot, political power points generation would go down, and intelligence would go down. So that's a really, really bad candidate for us. These 2 guys are a little bit more mixed. Taliban missions down 10%, that's good for us. Corruption, more political points, also very good for us. But on the other hand, more expenditure due to the infrastructure, and the training time would be up. Same with this guy, Taliban missions down, training time up, political cost would go down, and the penalty would go up. We haven't really talked about the penalty because I don't think it's that relevant right now. But I think all in all, this guy is fairly good for us. Taliban missions down is nice, but primarily I'd like to see the infrastructure costs go down a little bit. We don't really have the political power to really spend too much, so let's just support this guy as is, and we'll be in the election over here as we approach turn 8. So over the next 4 turns there'll be election season. That's going to make it a little bit more difficult for us, especially as 2 turns from now there will be an incoming sandstorm, and that will mean our mobility, especially our air mobility, will be severely reduced. But until then we do have some probable Taliban activity, and we'll just need to deal with that in a way. That being said, I think it's a very good place to put in a cut. So I'd like to thank you guys for watching and hope to see you guys next time. Until then, stay shiny. Bye bye.